First of all, congratulations on receiving your new VS3000 evaluation kit. This EVK allows you to easily evaluate, prototype and develop HD-Base-T products based upon the VS3000 chipset. To further help you, Valence provides the board schematics as a reference design, giving you a proven starting point for your own designs. So without further ado, let's see what's in the box. First, there are a couple of cards in here. This one is a welcome card and includes a QR code which takes you to the Valence website where product documentation can be downloaded. And this one explains that the EVK is set up for remote management over Ethernet using the Sync Pro cloud service. We'll talk more about that later. There are a whole bunch of different USB adapters in here to make sure you can connect your USB devices to the EVK. We've got a 5 meter or 16 feet Cat6a SFTP cable for the HD-Base-T link. Now let's take out the two power adapters. You'll need to use them both if you do not want to take advantage of the power over HD-Base-T capabilities of the EVK. If you do want to use POH, then only one power adapter needs to be used. And last, but most definitely not least, the actual VS3000 units. Let's take a closer look at them. The VS3000 chip supports port duality, meaning that the same silicon can function as either an HD-Base-T transmitter or receiver. And what that means is that the two EVK units are actually completely identical. The front panel has a number of interface connectors, LEDs and dip switches. There is a micro USB connector labeled Debug to connect a PC running the Valence Value software tool. Value allows you to monitor the link performance, make configuration changes, update the firmware and so on. Next to the debug port is an RJ45 connector labeled MNG port, management port, which can also be used for device management using the Value tool again, but now over an IP network. Here we have the native interface ports for extension over the HD-Base-T link. So we have an RS232 serial port, audio line input and output ports which make use of the VS3000 I2S audio ports, and a USB 2.0 port with a Type-C connector. As you can see, there are 6 dip switches. I will talk about those in a few moments once we have discussed all the interfaces on the unit. We now come to the LEDs. For the HDMI, there is a LED for the HDMI input and another one for the HDMI output. Next, we have the HD-Base-T LEDs. The first LED, labeled T/R, indicates the gender of the unit, that is, whether it is a transmitter or a receiver. Then we have the link LED, which shows the status of the HD-Base-T link. The last HD-Base-T LED is the firmware LED, which gives the status of the firmware running on the unit. And the last LEDs are the power LEDs. When external power is applied to the unit, the ON LED will come on. Should power over HD-Base-T be enabled via the dip switches, the POH LED will switch on. Let's now turn our attention to the rear panel. Here we see the power jack for the unit, which can accept an input voltage of 12 to 24 volts DC. This is the HD-Base-T port where we connect the category cable for the link. It is a standard RJ45 socket. We now have the HDMI 2.0 input and output ports for the video. For both ports, video formats up to 4K 64:4 are supported, as are HDR, HDR+, and Dolby Vision formats, all without the need for any compression. And finally, we have the Gigabit Ethernet LAN port. Depending on the dip switch settings, this single port can support up to 3 simultaneous functions: Gigabit Ethernet tunneling, remote management, and cloud-based management. We have integrated the VS3000 with the Sync Pro cloud service that allows you to manage and monitor all your HD-Base-T devices through a cloud server. To learn more about this service, you can go to the Sync Pro website, which can be reached by scanning the QR code on the postcard in your EVK. A separate tutorial video for Sync Pro is also available. Now let's go back and talk about those dip switches. There are 6 of them on the front panel, and on the top cover there is a handy table detailing what they each control. Note that except for switches 1 and 2, for all other switches, the upper line of text is the setting when the switch is on, that is in the up position, and the lower line of text is the setting when the switch is off, in the down position. For detailed information on the switches, LEDs and interface ports, you should refer to the EVK user manual, which can be obtained from Valence customer support. So now we have been through the details of the kit, let's put this setup together. Okay, so first things first, let's connect up the power to the unit. You will see as I'm doing this that on both units the power LED has come on. No PSE LED because this is not power over HD-Base-T. Next, we'll connect up the category cable for the HD-Base-T link, and as you will see again, the LED shows that the link is up, the firmware LED is blinking, the TR LED is flashing, which means this is the receiver side, the TR LED is stable, which means that this is the transmitter side. Next, we need to connect up the HDMI source, so we'll take an HDMI output from the media player to the HDMI input on the back of the transmitter, and on the receiver side we'll take from the HDMI output port a cable to the display, and as you will see the display comes on with the streamer. What we now want to do is use USB to control the media player actually from the receiver side. So we'll take a USB output from the back of the streamer. We will use the adapter that came in the box to convert the mini USB into Type-C connector. That is our USB host connection. Next, we'll take the other adapter that came in the kit. We'll connect it to the mouse and once again plug it in onto the USB device side. Finally, let's get an additional audio stream going. So we'll take my cell phone, we'll plug it into the audio input, and on the other side we'll take the audio output to the loudspeaker. So what we have achieved is an extension of video, we can see the video, and also USB extension from the receive side back to the host. I'm now controlling the media player using the mouse on the receiver side. We'll start a movie playing. We are now streaming the video across the HDMI part of the link up to the display. This is 4K 60 video, and at the same time we can play audio in completely the return direction. So we'll just get this playing. Okay. Truly plug and play implementation of HDMI uncompressed 4K 60 444 video, of USB 2.0 and of I2S audio, all over a single category cable. It couldn't be any easier than that. So what we've seen is the unboxing of the brand new VS3000 evaluation kits. What I've shown you is just a small subset of the rich feature set that the VS3000 chipset can support. For more information, please visit www.valence.com.